Hello and happy holidays from everyone at every Ancillary. I'm going to mute everybody out. If you guys are speaking during this, I know a few of you I have speaking, just go ahead and unmute yourselves. You can do that from your control panel. But, all right, I think I'm all set. Okay, thank you everybody for joining us for the first annual Every Ancillary Christmas party. You guys might be a little bit confused by this, thinking, why the heck are we doing a Christmas party? We don't work together. We live in different parts of the country. I have more than one person call me up and say, I'd love to go, but I just can't make it to San Diego. This is not a live party. This is a virtual party. Everybody's invited. So it's part of the reason we did it, is I didn't want people to feel like, you know, Vivian and I had spoken about this before. I worked for years. I always worked for companies, and you had company Christmas parties, or even if you were working out remotely, you still got together with your region. They would do some sort of a Christmas party. When you work as an independent medical sales rep, it can be kind of a lonely job. So I thought, you know, this would create maybe a little bit more of a sense of community, let you guys know you're not alone, and show you guys how to really supercharge your sales for 2020. That's the most important thing. So we have a bunch of cool new features that we're going to be going over. In fact, let me just go through here.
Call from Robert Costanet.
Oh, and one of our guest speakers is calling me, so mute out 1 second. Okay, so one little snafu right there. Vivian, can you do me a favor and email Robert Castaneda the webinar link, because he's speaking here pretty shortly.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so just a couple quick things here. So the other reason we wanted to do this is because this is a great time to set your goals. If you guys wait until January 1st to set your goals and to start to think about next year, you've already lost. Because people who are real serious about their careers, people who are successful in this business, they're going to have a rolling start into 2020. So we have some really cool new stuff to show you guys that we really feel like is going to help you guys make 2020 your most profitable year that you've ever had. So just for our agenda, what we're going to be going through here, first we're going to share all the new features that we've added to every ancillary and some stuff that's going to really help you guys connect with doctors and land more sales. We're going to do a couple quick stories. We're going to talk about Kaizen, which I know some of you guys are familiar with. You probably heard me drone on about it, but we're going to talk a little bit about it. And then we're going to have a panel discussion with a few very successful sales reps. Then we have an initiative called 20% in 2020, and then I'll just share some final thoughts, and that will basically be it. So without any further ado, Vivian Hudson, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about some of the new website features.
Okay, thanks, Mike. So this has been a much longer process than what we initially anticipated, and I know a number of you have been asking, where's the new website, where's the new website? So it's kind of been in a framework for a while. We've just been tweaking it, and there's still some tweaks to come, but we're pretty close. So finally, the unveiling, so you can see it has a lot more of the look and the feel of the Every Ancillary website, so that we can get a lot more consistency with the branding and the way you present yourself. So you can see the different panels. This is the home page, and from there they can take the checkup. So you've got the checkup feature that is on there. So this is what you see when you see the checkup feature, that they can just put in some basic information to give them some solutions that would be suitable for their practice. And then from there, they'll actually be also able to access the different ancillary solutions. So you can see the little plus sign that's on the right-hand side of each of the different categories. And then, as Mike showed there, it will drop out all the different solutions that are available under that, and then they can click on those and you'll get an actual solution page. So this is an example of one of the solution pages. So there will be videos on every page. I'm also working on adding some frequently asked questions, things like that to make I feel like the page would be more useful and provide some good information for them to be able to navigate your site and then obviously connect with you. So where it's got connect with Ancillary Medical Solutions, you would have your own company name there, not ours, obviously. So they can make an appointment with you and have a lot more integration between you as a practice development manager and the practice. So it's certainly going to streamline things a lot more and give you a much more complete solution. But from my perspective, I want to say a big thank you to everybody that has been part of our journey. I know it's always an interesting journey. It's not an easy job, and I know there was days that I was out in the field and I would just scratch my head and go, what on earth am I doing? But the rewards are there, so it's just about getting the right formula and perseverance, and I'm looking forward to seeing so many of you be successful in 2020 with all the tools that we have for you on the Every Ancillary platform. Back to you, Mike.
Viv, just curious, anything in particular that you're looking forward to in 2020?
I'm always excited about the new programs, but I feel like the robust portfolio now that we have, and I've seen it multiple times now that we've got some of our reps that have got some solutions into a practice and they're rapid firing multiple solutions into a practice. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of our reps doing that and having just a handful of practices with a handful of solutions each one and being here in 12 months and going, wow, look what we've all accomplished. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Thanks, Viv. And thanks for all your hard work on the website. This is, I think people are going to get a lot of mileage out of this. This makes you look a lot more professional out in the field. You know, part of what we're trying to do is just make you guys look professional in front of doctors. I'll go through more of this later, but this is when Viv wakes up in the morning, her sole focus is, how can I help somebody look more professional in front of a doctor so it will be easier for them to make a sale? That's it. So thanks, Viv. Okay, next we have, my computer will cooperate, Jerry Phillips. Jerry. Are you unmuted, Jerry? Jerry? All right, I might have to go through Jerry's parts for him. I couldn't hear him earlier either. Okay, so Jerry Phillips, I know a lot of you have interacted with Jerry. Jerry has become my right-hand man. He is just an absolute whiz at putting together systems. And so one of the things that Jerry's built that we've piloted this with, probably 4 or 5 people who are on this call, is a new CRM system customized for the ancillary space. You guys are really going to love this. All right, so this is now included. Jerry, go ahead and speak up. I can't hear you if you're on there. But so let me show you. Yep. Oh, now we can hear you, Jerry.
Oh, sorry. I think I'm hearing an echo.
I'll mute myself, but I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Okay, cool. Okay, so Merry Christmas to everybody on the call. And I want to just I'll make it real quick. So we're working on this new CRM system. Okay, I think I'm hearing an echo myself. Sorry about that. So I'll just go over the CRM snapshots and overview. So this, I think we already have 2 tests running, Robin Valdez and Cornell Jones working on that. They're loving it. So, and kind of get, we're waiting excited to put it out there for you to use it. So this is the home page, which will look, it got hot leads, current clients, and it's got your calendar synchronized to your Gmail. And it's pretty easy and simple to use. It only has 3 options: accounts, contacts, and activities. So on the accounts page, let's say you have a practice and you want to go over different contact with the account. I'm sorry, I'm hearing echo myself. So.
Yeah, Jerry, here, let me just run through it because I'll get to the crux of this. People have used CRM systems before. This is no different. What we did here, though, was customize this. So we provide this as a free option for you guys who are members. You have a ability to obviously enter in your contacts and then enter in your accounts. But the really cool thing, this is the cool thing. We have a bunch of other cool features, and we're going to be sending out a CRM tutorial along with this, but I'm not going to go through the whole thing here. But the thing that people have found the most use are these templates. So we have about, Jerry, how many do you have? Maybe 35 or 40 different templates. So now what you're going to be able to do is, for any lead that you have, your doctor says, well, hey, can you come back, follow up with me next week? Well, number one, you can click Create an Event, and it will sync it with your Google Calendar. Hey, I got to go back and see that doctor on Tuesday. The doctor says, well, I need more information. I think I want to go ahead and sign up for that out-of-office dispensing. All you have to do is click on their contact, and there are preset templates. There's going to be about 40 of these or so. I think there's about 40 right now. Every single solution that's in our portfolio has a preset template. You click one button, Dear Dr. So-and-so, and it has the whole thing written out, a couple paragraphs about the program, a video embedded. Here's a video that explains the program. Here are the next steps to get started. Please complete the attached ... Has all the attachments. Everything's ready to go. So we end up writing emails for people all the time. People ask me, can you help me put together an email? My doctor wants this and that. These are all set, ready to go. The other thing that Jerry put together is under activities, there is a newsletter. And we've broken everything up into 3 categories of specialty. And so there's 3 different versions of a newsletter. Every month we're going to update the newsletter. So you could literally go into activities with one click, say, hey, I want all my podiatry, pain management, and orthopedic to get the physical medicine February newsletter from me. And it's going to have all of your information on there. It's all branded to you. And it's just a way to keep in contact with your clients. That's what it's all about. All right, Jerry, thank you for putting all that together. I know you worked hard on it. Jerry, what are you excited about for 2020? You must still be on echo, Jerry. Well, I can tell you that Jerry has found a bunch of other cool stuff that the CRM system can do. There's digital marketing. We're going to create drip campaigns, things like that, and really turn the CRM system into a sales machine for you. So, Jerry, I know your connection's a little bit bad, so I want to thank you, though, Jerry. Thanks for getting on, and thanks for building the system. Okay, Virginia, are you up? Are you on? Virginia it was hard for me to get up this early. Virginia is actually in Alaska, which is where she's from, so it's even earlier there. Virginia, are you able to unmute yourself? We can't hear you. All right. Well, so Virginia has been working on bringing on new vendors. And just to give you guys a little bit of an idea of how we work, we got away from the whole distributorship model. I realized that this model is broken. We don't go through travel agents anymore to book flights. You just go right to the airlines, or you go to Orbitz or Expedia. That's pretty much how we work. We do it. It's all subscription based because we don't want to have our hand in your pocket. We always want you to trust us that we're bringing you good vendors and that we're just trying to help you become successful, keep those vendors on as members, and keep us paying us a monthly subscription fee. And then that's how we make money. It's just pure monthly subscriptions. That way we always ensure, and we ask every vendor this, what do you pay? What is the top end of what you pay any of your sales reps now? That's the rate that you have to offer on every ancillary. Well, what do we pay you? You pay us a monthly rate. It doesn't matter how many deals you get. It doesn't matter how many reps you get. You just pay us the same flat monthly rate. So Virginia has some really cool vendors coming on board. Some of the ones that we just added are pretty phenomenal. The in-office people we just did this last week, I could see that being pretty interesting for the right type of clinic. But some of the simple ones are good door openers. We just added one, the patient pre-registration. It's called Yossi. That is a really killer little program. And that's a good door opener, and that eliminates an annoying chore for the practice. So there's a bunch of cool new programs coming out like that. We have telehealth solutions coming on. We have new laboratories coming on, well, one in particular, which we're going to hear from the owner here pretty soon. So we just have a bunch of really cool new vendors who are also coming on in 2020. So we're really rounding out the portfolio for you. Okay, and then just a couple features I wanted to share with you. So if you look in your sales dashboard now, you can see there's a sign into your CRM. So to get your CRM, we have to turn it on for you. Not everybody's going to want CRM. We know that. Obviously, it's not required. If you want CRM, you just have to reach out to Jerry, jerry@everyancillary.com, and Jerry has to manually set up your CRM account. But once it's set up, you can access it through your sales dashboard. Just click on that sign into CRM. And then we also have schedule an appointment. If you guys want any type of coaching calls, you want help putting together a proposal, you want help just strategizing with any of your accounts, you need us for a webinar, anything. My calendar is synced with this schedule an appointment. So this is how you can schedule appointments with me. So that's another feature. And then finally, I spent a long time cleaning up our YouTube channel, realized it was kind of a mess. If you go to our YouTube channel, you will see that it's organized in a much simpler, more intuitive fashion. I have videos broken down, playlists. One is, these are good programs for work comp and PI. Another playlist, these are good programs that fit primary care, internal medicine specialties, et cetera, et cetera. So, so check that out if you guys, if you have time, but you'll see it's really nicely laid out now. And then I know I mentioned this before, but just letting everybody know, we are changing the membership levels. So everybody that's a premium member, nothing changes there. We introduced a new level, and it's a CRM only level. It's $45 if somebody just wants to have the customized CRM. We're doing away with the free level. If you have a free membership, you can keep your free membership. All right, don't worry about it. But as of January 1st, we're turning off that function so nobody new can sign up for a free membership. We're grandfathering everybody in, though, so don't worry if you are on a free membership right now. Okay, Robert Castaneda, can you unmute yourself? I see that you're on. Are you able to hear us? Can you unmute yourself? Maybe I got to go in here and do it for you. Robert. So I thought this would be cool to hear from somebody that's been very successful in this field. And Robert, I know some of you guys probably know Robert. He's pretty infamous in this industry. Robert has a pretty good story to tell us. And it pertains not only, I mean, how many people can you find that can tell you a story not only about ancillaries, but Christmas at the same time? So, Robert, I saw you on, oh, there you are. Okay. Okay, you should be unmuted now, Robert. Robert, are you connected to your audio there? Robert, there you go. Okay, okay, Robert, you're unmuted now.
Good morning.
Perfect.
Good morning, can you hear me?
We can hear you perfect. I'm going to go ahead and make this full screen again. Go ahead, you're up, Robert. And just to tee it up, guys, Robert and I have known each other for a few years now. Probably the most solid guy you'll meet in this business. Been very successful, but has had his ups and downs, just like every single person in this industry. But Robert's found success in other industries. So this is basically, he's shooting for the trifecta. This will be the third time that he's created a successful multi-million-dollar business. So Robert is the owner of Livingston Labs now, so he works in this field, but he also owns a laboratory, so he's really taken the plunge. So, Robert, going to go ahead and let you take over.
Thank you, Mike. Hi, Vivian. Hi, everybody. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. May this coming year be an awesome year for everyone that's listening in and the ones that can't make it. We have you in our thoughts. This is a great business. This is a great industry to be in. I'm overly optimistic because even though the landscape has changed in the last 12 months, there's still a lot of room for all of us to make money, especially with the tools that every ancillary offers. The CRM is awesome. It's something that everyone needs. It's a must. if you're going to be successful in this business, and I'll tell you why in a second. So I'm going to jump right into this, to the story. So I love Ancillary. Ancillaries are the best. I started in, and this is just going to be a quick, miracles do happen, guys. Miracles do happen. I came from another industry, not related to medical, but I've been in the medical field for 26 years. I went back into the ancillary business in early 2016, late 2015, but I really dove in 2016. And I started with the compounding, pharmacy compounding. If anyone who's listening in right now would remember, I know Mike does for sure because we've had some great conversations about it, and Viv too, about the compounding days where everyone was making, commissions of $150,000, $200,000. Distributors were doing $1 million a month in pharmacy sales. And I caught just the tail end of that Halley's Comet, just the tail end, enough to wet my beak to understand that, hey, there's significant business to be made here as long as you work hard. And so I put the pedal to the metal October 2016 and went and hit the road all over my area. I'm in Texas. I'm in San Antonio. So the surrounding areas, Houston, Austin, Dallas even, I really hit it hard. And I got nothing from October of 2016 until about October, a full year. I was out there calling and little sales here or there, but nothing real that said, okay, now I can really make a career out of this. And I kept going back to this one clinic. And I'll say the name in a little bit, but I'm not going to mention the physician. But after the compounding kind of wore off in early 2017, I switched gears into labs and started marketing lab services, blood, urine, and at the time it was just coming out molecular. And so I was making my rounds everywhere I called on for the last 8 months on compounding and pharmacy and got hard nosed. I went back and started saying, guys, doctor, I'm now doing labs, and let me tell you about my lab. And I was marketing other labs in other cities in Texas or across the country, a lot of which Mike introduced me to and we did good business with. But at the time, I had zero business. It was I was using money that was coming from another business so I could survive. I was doing anything I can to keep my business going because I was convinced. I was convinced in my heart of hearts. I've seen people make it in this industry, and I looked at them, and who am I to judge anybody, guys? Right? I'm out of everybody in the world, I'm the worst. Like, I said, guys, this person here is hugely successful at Ancillary. What is the difference between us? And it's really just persistence, 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 persistence. You have to be persistent. Fanatical integrity, persistence, and going out and keep on chipping away at those big accounts, at those accounts that tell you no. One day, whoever they're using is going to drop the ball, and there's where you could swoop in. It'll be opportunity, and this is my story. So I took all of 2017 marketing labs, going all around Bexar County, getting down to financially a place where I wasn't in a good place. It was hard. I was struggling. And I finally, and this is where, people take off for the holidays. I find the holidays, and every holiday, not just Christmas and New Year's, but every holiday where people take breaks, I find it to be the biggest opportunity to get into big doctors and big clinics. And this is why. Christmas, it was Christmas Eve morning, December 2017. I was making my rounds, and I had to work because, to be quite frank, I didn't have enough to make it a good Christmas for my family. So I had to keep going. And I said, I'm going to work at half a day Christmas Eve. And it worked out to be well because my second stop was at this place. And those who know biblical terms and all that, this place happened to be called St. Lazarus. I'm not going to name the rest of it, but from the ashes, from death came life, right? And so I walked into this family practice, and the doctor, really, really nice man, never gave me the time of day. The gatekeeper never gave me the time of day. Always back. And I walked into the lobby. But I walked in. It was Christmas Eve. I could afford a few little trinkets of, donuts and sweets. And I walked in and said, here, I just wanted to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and
Oh, Robert, you're not going to drop off on us now, are you? Robert, you're killing us. You're just to the end of your story. There we go. All right, Robert, can you hear us again? You fell off. Robert?
yeah. So
okay, we got you now.
So I'm sitting in the lobby. I bring this little basket to the front counter. I give it to the lady, and I said, "Ma'am, if the doctor is available, I'd love to talk to him and just visit for a little bit." And I don't know if it was Christmas Eve or if the lobby, because it was empty, and the doctor usually is very busy, but I could see him right behind the front desk person, and he interrupts and says, "Sure, come on in." And I go in there, I sit down and talk to the doctor, and the doctor says to me, "You must be one of the most persistent people I know. You've been here how many times, Robert? What is it that you have? What is it that I'll give you the time? This is my gift to you on Christmas Eve." I said, "Okay, doctor, thank you." And I went on my spiel about how this lab is a great lab and how my service, because I'm local, and you can see by me being persistent that I will service your account well, that you'll never have to worry about any issues with delays in results, and that I'll be here to. I said, "Doctor, if you give me a shot," and you're all welcome to use this line. "If you give me a shot, doctor, I'll be your best employee that works for free, works nights and weekends and holidays, as proven now. It's Christmas Eve, and I'm here talking to you, Doc. Give me a shot. Let me show you what I can do for you." And it was silent. He looked through the sample reports. He looked through the requisitions. He asked some questions to his biller that he had in-house there, blah, blah, blah. "What do you think of this, that?" He came back and says, "You know what, Robert? I do 300 labs a month, and I don't like the lab that we're using right now. I'm going to give you a shot. I'm going to give you a shot, Robert, but this is your shot. If you mess up once, you're gone." And I realized, I said, wow, he's giving me a shot. So I said, "Okay, Doc, you won't be sorry." 65, 70 days later, I got my first check for $8,400 from one account. 1 month, because it takes 3 months you got to bill for 3 months in order to collect for the first month, the whole month. So within 75 days and 90 days later, I collected $8,400 on that one account. And I looked at it and I said, wow, this is possible. If I get 10 more accounts like this, I'll be doing close to $100,000 a month in commission. Of course, maybe other people will think $8,400, hey, that's pretty good. I'm working out of my car, working at a Starbucks, and I'm getting almost $10,000 a month just doing this. I'll just stick with this one account. But this made me realize that it's possible. It's possible to make $1 million a year being an ancillary rep. And that one opportunity that I went into that one extra call that morning, and it just happened to be called St. Lazarus. Rise, Lazarus. And I felt like that. I felt like something was dying in me, and I got this account. I got this chance, and I became alive. I felt like I name dropped. I used their name at other clinics and said, hey, they're using me. Why don't you give me a shot? And it worked. Not all the time, but I'd say 1 out of every 5 calls, I got that account. In July of 2018, I had 41 accounts from San Antonio to Houston, and I was making $288,000 a month in commission. I almost made $3 million in 2018 working at a Starbucks, guys. That's when I said, okay, I'm going to open a lab. And now I have a lab. But it's and it does everything. And I welcome all of you to give me a call off this call and see if we can synergize together with what we offer. And I don't mind mentoring you. This is a business. This is a good, solid industry. I just read an article, 1 out of every 6 U.S. dollars is spent in healthcare. $1 out of every $6 in the U.S. is spent on healthcare. There was a pie chart on this. It was in the Wall Street Journal. You guys can all look this up. 20% of that 1 out of every $6 was in physician services, which is what we do. This is a huge opportunity for people that really want to take this seriously, to use the CRM, to use every Ancillary's platform, to see if you can make $1 million a year. You can. I'm telling you. I'm living proof you can. You can do this. And I started, Mike can tell you, zero, guys, zero, nothing. And from that, a little bit, a little chicken scratch here, chicken scratch there, little pennies turn into dollars turn into hundreds and thousands, and next thing you know, it's happening. And I'm telling you, this is a business if you do it compliantly, first and foremost compliantly, and only when it's medically necessitated, and you do it the right way, that you are going to see performance, you are going to see results. And with that, you can build a life. You can build a whole new career. If you're a retired person, this is a great way to make extra money. If you're someone just coming into this field, this is a great place to start and make your mark. The landscape is changing, but it's changing for people that really want to work at this, that want to be persistent, that want to make a difference. And it starts with fanatical service, fanatical support, fanatical integrity, and most of all, you got to get up early and you got to get to those clinics. You have to be in there. If you're not in there, they don't know about you. They won't know what you're doing. And the more you're in there, just because they say no the first time doesn't mean they're going to say no the second or third time. Trust me, this business is just a tiny bit volatile. So their service will mess up. And when they do, if you're there and they're not, guess what? They're going to give you a shot. You have to stay hopeful, because it will happen. It happened to me. It took me a little while, but I'm living proof that miracles do happen. It happened on Christmas Eve, guys. It's ironic that, maybe it's not ironic, maybe it was meant to be for us to speak right now during this Christmas holiday, a day before Christmas Eve. Just 3 short years ago, I was running on empty, and now I'm a lab owner with every single test and every single type of instrument that you need to run a full-service lab. It's absolutely 1,000% possible, whether it's labs, pharmacies doing very well now, the diabetes protocol is awesome, and there's other things coming down the pipeline that do extraordinarily well for reps, and I'm here to tell you that if you keep at it, you keep chiseling away at this, it's definitely going to come your way. Your time will come. Your number will be drawn. But it won't happen if you don't believe. You got to believe that you can do something. And having the tools like every Ancillary help me do it. If it can help me do it, it can help you do it, guys. I'm living proof that it's possible. Just when I was losing hope, just when I thought there was no possible way that I could be in this industry, I thought this isn't for me. Maybe I got to go back to doing what I used to do and things. And then I got a shot. And it was a doctor that had a reputation for being a busy doctor. And I asked him, I said, can I use you as a reference? And he said, absolutely, Robert. I said, I'm building my business. Use doctors as they're your partners. You're a very important part. The ancillary industry for a doctor is a way a doctor can pay themselves. They are also struggling to make money, and you're helping them either save money or provide a better service that ups their MIPS macro score or gives them some added funding at the end of the month, or all the above. Either way, you play a very important part. And if you take it that way, if you see yourself that way, that you are a part of their clinic, then there's hope. You're gonna make it. You're gonna do it. You're gonna accomplish it. Use the CRM. Use the platform. Use the services that are on there. And more importantly, use them with the persistence of going back to those clinics that you want. You can make $500,000 a year within 30 square miles of your home. I did it in the middle of nowhere. If you're out in a metropolitan city, in a big city, a city over 2 million people, you can make it within 10 square miles of your own home. But you have to be persistent. And above all things, when you're speaking to a doctor, you speak with 100% integrity. Don't sugarcoat anything. Don't tell them something you're not sure of. I'll get back to you, doc, but I will get back to you. And if you do these things, I promise you, And my phone line is always open. Mike knows this. I'll help mentor you in certain things. You know, you need Mike and I to help close. Bring us in, we'll close. But it'll happen. This is a great time to be in this next coming year, 2020, a new decade. It's a great time to start new in your business, in the way you approach your potential clients. Utilize the things that are being offered to you because they're only there to help you look better, to sharpen your skills, to sharpen your image. I'm telling you because I'm living proof, guys. I'm living proof that it's possible. And so with that, Mike, I want to thank you for always being
thank you, Robert. Inspiring as always. And I know, guys, when we started Every Ancillary, as I built the tool, one thing I read about when you start businesses is you shouldn't try to appeal to the masses. Think of that one person that you would want to reach. And Robert was the inspiration. I thought, how can I build a tool for someone that's finding some success like Robert? How can I help him go from good to great and help him look even more professional? So a lot of these tools we're building, this is what we have in mind. So it's built on that standard. So Robert, thank you very much for getting on. Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Absolutely. Merry Christmas. Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, so now I thought we could lighten it up a little bit here. So you guys might have seen this before. This video is pretty old, but I know some people are new to this industry, but I thought this will liven it up a little bit. This is only like 2 minutes long. If you have this on speaker, I believe there are a couple swear words in here, so hopefully you guys can handle it. If not, this is just a funny little interaction between if you've ever worked as a drug rep or a medical rep at all, and kind of what it's like dealing with doctors. So without further ado. One second here.
I do not have time to talk to you today. I'm very busy.
I know you are very busy. I have been in your waiting room for 1 hour.
I do not have time to talk to you.
I have a new indication for one of my drugs.
I do not have time to talk to you.
I understand. It will only take 5 seconds.
I do not have time. Where is the free lunch that you brought me?
You mean the lunch I not only had to buy for you, but also for 5 nurses, 8 lab techs, 3 file clerks, 2 receptionists, the janitor, and your dog, just so I could talk to you for 10 seconds.
Yes.
It is in the break room. It is next to the several $100s of free samples I brought also.
I do not have time to talk to you.
Yes. You made that very clear. Can I just get a signature for the samples?
I do not have time to sign. I hope that isn't Pepsi. I told you we only take Coke products.
I know. I write down all that kind of bullshit while I am sitting in the waiting room for 2 fucking hours.
I do not have time for you today.
You know, I could have a cure for AIDS and you would never know it. Because you are too self-important to talk to me for just 1 minute. Even after I bend over backwards to make you and your staff happy.
Correct.
And one other thing. What is up your receptionist's ass? How come every time I come in here she gives me the evil eye?
I tell her to do that, so that you will just drop off samples and leave.
She is very good at being a bitch. Is she related to you?
I do not have any time to spend with you today. Why don't you schedule a lunch?
Sounds great, douchebag.
All right, well, you guys get the point. Hopefully your kids weren't listening. Okay, so sorry about that. Get back to my PowerPoint here. Here we go. All right. So next up, we have, I thought this would be fun to do a little panel discussion because I know you guys heard from Robert, but we have a few other reps I wanted to hear from who've been very successful. And some of these reps are seasoned veterans, some are new but finding some early success. So we got some questions from some people that you wanted to hear. Kevin Bankson, I'm going to unmute you. There we go, I found you. Let's see, Robin, I'm looking for you. Robin, you can unmute yourself. I can't find you in here. I know you're in here. And Anthony, not sure which one is you. Oh, here you go, Robin. Robin, you're unmuted, but it doesn't show that. Anthony, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect. Robin, can you hear me? No, Robin Valdez? Robin, I see you on there. It doesn't show that you have any audio connected. You might have to just dial in if you can't do that. So I didn't want to spend too much time, but I did want to get, we did have some questions that I get from newer reps. And I thought this, instead of me just answering the questions all the time, you're only getting my perspective. It might be interesting to hear perspective from some people who have been out in the field for a long time. So Anthony King, I'm going to go ahead and start with you. And Anthony works in the Cincinnati market. Anthony has been with us for a long time. So I know Anthony is finding some success out there. I know you're pushing the diabetes protocol and some other stuff. So first question I wanted to ask you is how you organize yourself. How do you set up your day and your week?
Oh, well, usually I get out a notebook, really, and use my phone. Basically use my phone to, put in, dates and times, that I have meetings or when I need to see a doctor. I usually write down in my notebook, really, to, write down who do I need to speak to first. So sometimes I need to go to an operations guy or manager first to even get to the doctor. So I write down their names. So, next time I come in, call in, I already know who to speak to. So I don't have to, get any pushback from the gatekeeper or anything like that. And I just write down, what time is usually, downtime, to be able to see the doctor or whoever that decision maker is, to see that person. I just write down which times to come in. Basically, like Robert said earlier,
We can't hear you that well. But the good news for you is now you have a CRM system to organize your lead. How about, what does a typical day look like for you, Anthony? How many sales calls do you think you're getting in?
I at least try to, because I'm doing, I'm driving too, because there's many around here, and I'm also calling, so I would at least say about at least 20 to 25.
Wow, that's a lot of sales calls. Yeah, I used to, it kind of depends on your region and how clustered your accounts are, but I always used to set a goal for myself to hit 20. I usually didn't hit it, but I would prioritize the accounts in order of, how hot the leads are, basically, and then I have the people at the bottom. I'll get to them if I can. That's a lot of sales calls. Yeah, so no wonder you're finding success. If you can make 100, 150 sales calls in a week, there's no way you don't come across a sale. Robin Valdez, is your audio synced up yet? Robin? All right, let's skip over to Kevin. Kevin Bankson, can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, so Kevin Bankson's a very successful medical rep in the Phoenix market. So Kevin, how do you organize yourself?
Organization is always tricky for me, but I try to keep up with my Outlook calendar at all times. So on a typical week, like on Monday mornings, like right now, this is kind of a weird week, but I'll obviously look at what I'm doing, look at what lunches I have, what appointments I have set, because I'm kind of to the point where I do a lot of digital stuff, so I've worked the last 5 to 6 years on getting. And I would say this is a big tip for everyone out there, because everything has kind of gone, to a digital side, is really storing personal emails of doctors. Because, I have a list now of, over about 10,000 emails. And, with the new CRM tools that every ancillary is launching here too, it'll be super easy to, have them on an email chat, chain, and literally just be up to date with them. So, that's what my typical week looks like, is, looking at what appointments I have, setting calls, and then figuring out what days I have to go out in the field, what days I have to stay in the office, and making, inside phone calls, because it's not all about being out there. Sometimes it's about being inside and, making the phone calls and setting the appointments up that way. So anyways, that's what my typical week looks like, and that's how I stay organized.
Robin, are you?
Yes.
I unmuted you. Oh, good. We can hear you now.
Yes,
Robin Valdez in
Thank
Texas. So,
Hi, thank you.
Robin, thank you for getting on. And Robin is new to Every Ancillary, not that new, what, about 6 months or so, but has already found some success. I know you already moved a diabetes protocol, or at least a partial one, and you're finding some success with some of these practices. So what's your strategy? How do you organize yourself, and how do you set up your day and your week?
Yeah, I just make sure that I set daily goals. I have a list of my top 5, and I make sure that, what's on that list gets tackled before the end of the day. So usually there's simple tasks, emailing, my account back or requesting material from a vendor. But I found that if they're not written down, I'll put priority on something else, and it may not get done. So I just make sure that every morning I use my yellow notepad and make that list so that I can tackle those goals.
All right, Robin, I'm going to stick with you here on the next question. What do you find is your best way to get in front of decision makers? I know there's no easy answer here, but what's your strategy?
Yeah, so I've found a lot of luck with LinkedIn. I'm on Sales Navigator. So I'll Google, for example, primary care doctors in my area, and then grab info that's beneficial, and then go to LinkedIn and look that clinic up and add the physicians and staff. And as soon as they accept my invitation to connect, usually with a physician or CEO, I'll send them a brief video message. I found that because it's different and not cookie cutter, I'll get a really quick response time. So I'll just kind of, schedule a meeting after that. But yeah, I found.
Yeah, I know you've been very good with the reaching out to people online and being able to land some sales that way. How about you, Kevin?
Yeah.
Getting in front of decision makers, I don't know. It's just persistence. I mean, it really is. When I first started off, 5-6 years ago, in the ancillary world, the first couple of years literally got nothing. And just the more times you're in there and the more you're making friends and all that fun stuff. That's really what it comes down to. Other than that, again, I do a lot of digital stuff as well. So short videos are always good, but just, staying relevant. And that's, if it's internet, if it's email, if it's being in the office, whatever it is just making sure that they know who you are and, that you're going to be that person that can bring them, good solutions. And that's like showing value into the office. Even these little small programs that we have at our disposal, they're just super good because you show them value on like a little billing company or a little software company. You're not making very much money, but the doctor's going to look at you and they're going to ask you then for something else. So that's what I found to be very successful is, just showing value and being persistent.
Anthony King. How are you getting in front of these decision makers?
Like Kevin said, just being persistent, coming in, letting all the, staff or the front desk to really see your face and, getting to actually remember your name and remember you. I've been in so many places that they actually, say, man, it seems like you live here. So.
Well, that's good, yeah, because to your point and Kevin's point, a lot of people get in this business and then get right out. So the first time around, they may not take you so seriously because they've seen other fly-by-night sales reps who are just out to make a quick buck. But the people who are making a career in this, who keep coming back to the practice, those are the ones who last, and those are the ones you basically wear them down. And you find your way into those decision makers just by persistence. You're right, I would agree with that. All right, Kevin, I'm going to start with you here. This is an issue that comes up for everybody, and myself included. You get a doctor, they say, Kevin, this looks great, can't wait to use it. Here's the sign-up forms, doc. Your supplies are on their way. And then 3 weeks later, you're sitting there, and they still haven't done test number 1. How do you maximize your pull-through?
Yeah, and this is the next point I was going to make on this stuff, is that pull-through is obviously the biggest thing, but having, 1 or 2 clinics doing, your number 1 ancillary that you want, that's just not going to do it as far as a long-term sustainable solution for your career, because you never know what's going to happen. That's one thing with the ancillary world. You never know what's going to happen. You never know how much volume that account's going to bring. So to bank on 1 or 2 accounts is never a good thing. I always kind of look at it like, hey, each one of these accounts might make me $1,000, $2,000 a month. And, I'd be happy with that because, I'm not looking, to score these big ones. But, if it's more than that, great. So maximizing pull-through is huge. But I always just like to have a lot of fires in the oven. So, it's not just one account or two accounts that I'm trying to really grind out. It's, a multitude of them where, there's people from 6 months, there's sales cycles that last a year. And there's always ways to kind of go back and revisit them. And then also, when you ever hear a no or get the hell out of my office, like that video was just showing, you got to take it inside because, you never want to have a bad reputation out there. So if you take that harshly, it's never good. So you kind of have to have a smile on your face because you'll be back in there next week with another ancillary. So that's usually what I've found.
All right, Anthony, I know you have an account that we just got up and going here in the last month. And your account's going pretty well so far. How were you able to maximize pull-through there?
Well, you got to stay in the practice. I mean, I've been going in there basically every single day, checking with the nurse to make sure he has everything that he needs. And me and Viv are communicating daily to make sure that we can get everything that we need for billing. And just make sure that the doctor's on the same page to, actually push patients to the nurse, because, the more people we have, the more money we're going to make, and, and that's what the doctors are looking for. So, just stay in the practice and communicate with everybody and make sure everybody's on the same page with pushing the service that we're putting in.
Absolutely. Robin?
To maximize pull-through, so my goal is just to create a relationship with a physician. And once that's established, it's easier to make sure that they are utilizing that solution. So I can't stress enough to have quick response time with communication. Even if you don't have an answer or solution, you've got to let them know that you're present and working on something. So I tell all my clinics that my purpose is to create seamless communication between their office and the expert. And so by creating a relationship with that clinic, with this one account now, I have 8 solutions in there. I've created some value, and now, let's say they have the allergy finger stick, and until they have a good amount of tests going out, they have to pay for UPS, and I've offered to go pick up their UPS for them and take those cards until they have a good amount. So just making sure that you're present.
Absolutely. I think for my end, one of the things I've done to maximize pull-through is I try to set some benchmarks up front with the doctor. So whatever the service is, it could be down to the smallest service. It could be something like, the patient registration. It's $280 a month. No big deal. But even just getting that off to a solid start can create some positive energy and shows that you're being proactive and you can help pull through ancillaries. So what I do with the doctor is I'll find out, well, what is your goals from adding this program? What is it that you think it's going to help your practice do? Okay, when do you want those things to kick in? When are you looking to achieve those goals? Oh, right away? Well, doc, in order for you to achieve those goals, you need to do X by this date. Does that sound good? I don't want to set your goals for you. The doctor needs to set their goals. But you need to hold the doctor accountable to the goals that they set. Okay, Anthony, I'm back to you. How are you utilizing the Every Ancillary platform? And I know we haven't gotten you on the CRM yet, but that will change soon. How do you utilize the book or Every Ancillary in general when you're creating your sales strategy?
Well, first, right now, I'm going to be using that CRM soon, though, but basically just, been using, the videos that you have in there, that speak about the product to, just show the doctors. There's plenty of information in there, just to sit down when you're having that lunch with them to go over things. That's really what I'm using it for right now.
All right, Robin.
So I have my custom website to direct all of my prospects to, which has been a godsend because I've been able to focus on outreach versus website management. And I'm testing the CRM, which has, again, been a blessing because the last 3 to 4 months I've been trying to vet a CRM system, and there's too many bells and whistles, too many pie charts and graphs. So this has been great because it's tailored specifically to my role is a consultant with every ancillary. But yeah, just the marketing material, it's all encompassing, having all the vendors on one platform and materials ready to send to the physicians. It's just been, you make it really hard to fail. I mean, it's just impeccable, the system that's set up. So.
Yeah, thank you, Robin. Kevin Bengtson.
Yeah, I utilize it in a magnitude of ways. I mean, back 2 or 3 years ago, there was not very many platforms like this. So the fact that there's references on all these companies is really nice because everyone's been screwed, but it's really nice to have references and to have other people that can vouch for these companies and programs. And so I like to go through every single answer on there and, really show value. And by, you have 6 or 7 different things that you can bring to them. They're like, who is this guy? What's happening here? Like, you literally have a solution for pretty much almost everything in the office at this point. There's really not much, and they're great solutions. So, I mean, I really like, utilizing that. The videos are awesome, too. I can't stress to you guys enough about the videos because, these doctors love it, and it's super easy to have them not hear a sales pitch, but just learn it for themselves. It really makes it easy.
Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, I think that the underlying benefit that every ancillary can bring to a rep, and that you could extol these virtues to a doctor is, hey, we can save you time. You don't have to deal with 47 different sales reps all trying to hawk whatever the latest program is. We have a full portfolio. We have 50-plus programs to choose from. I'm here to show you what's going to be in your sweet spot. That's more or less how I handle it. Okay, last question. Kevin, I'll start with you for this. What are you most excited about? Give me your top 2 or 3 programs that you think you're going to find a lot of success with in 2020.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Number 1 program that I like really well is the allergy program, finger stick allergy testing, treatment, and therapy. That's like a better mousetrap for sure for allergy testing. I like retail pharmacy as well because it's a longer sales cycle. It takes bigger clinics, but it's one that really makes the docs a lot of money. And then, I mean, I like the PCR aspect of it. We just kind of got introduced to that. That could be really well. That could be really well, depending on how that's kind of rolled out. So we'll see. I'm hopeful for that. And then I also like all the little small programs on there that you don't really make very much money. I like Canyon MD. They're a great billing company. I don't know. There's a ton of them on there. So there's my top 3 or 4.
Thanks, Kevin. I don't know who's working at Starbucks, but I hear someone making lattes. That sounds pretty good. I could go for some of that foam. All right, Anthony, what are you most excited about? What's top of your list for 2020?
Top of my list, I would say that, of course, the diabetes protocol. I'm going to be pushing that more next year, and also the osteoarthritis protocol. I got a few doctors that have been interested in that, and a few I need to see about that. And also that in-house PCR lab. So I'm pretty excited to get that out to some of the doctors too that I know.
Thanks, Anthony. How about you, Robin?
Definitely the Diabetes Care MD, diabetes protocol. I have a goal of putting that into a few clinics by the end of 2020, just because I've seen firsthand what this program has done for my current account, an internal medicine doctor. But as far as any other program, all of them. I mean, my goal is to implement what works best in each clinic. So it's just great to have such a wide spectrum of possibilities at the tips of my fingers. So I would say everything.
All right. I'll take it. Well, Kevin and Robin and Anthony, thank you for getting on, and wish you guys all best of success in 2020. I know you guys are going to have very successful years. Okay, so moving on. A couple more topics I wanted to cover, and then we'll go ahead and wrap. I'm sure some of the people on this call are familiar with Kaizen. I talk about this all the time, and people who work with me on the every ancillary side, they're sick of hearing me talk about it. But I was introduced to this a while back. I was in grad school, and I had a professor who was teaching us all about this operations management theory of that the Japanese adopted after World War II, and the Japanese call it Kaizen. Kaizen means good change. And basically what this is, if you're not familiar with it, you should look it up. It's a very simple concept, though. Basically what they did, and just to give you the example of Toyota, if you go back to when Toyota was created, those cars were considered crap. If you drove a Toyota, that was the lowest of the low piece of garbage car. So the Japanese adopted this concept of what they did was they took every single part of the process, from everything from sourcing the materials to build the car to the whole manufacturing assembly line to selling the cars, etc. They took every single process, and everybody who manages those processes, they break everything down to metrics. So let's say you're managing how the engine block is fastened in. And you're looking at maybe there's 10 different points that the engine block is fastened in. Well, they measure each point, and they see, well, what is the tolerance right now? How far off are we on our tolerances? And maybe they're 10 millimeters off or something on average. And they look at, okay, what is the weakest point that we have in this whole process of fastening in the engine block? Well, it seems to be this one point right here. We have the weakest tolerance right here, the biggest give. And so you multiply, you compound those things. What happens is you end up with a junky car that breaks down all the time. So what they would do is say, okay, whatever is our worst point, we're going to focus on that problem until that becomes our strongest point. Then they take the next worst point, and they do that until it becomes their strongest point. And what happens is everything starts to snowball, and you just keep making improvement after improvement after improvement. And within 10, 15 years, has anyone driven a Toyota? They never break. A Toyota and Lexus, they're always number 1 and number 2. So they were able to become the least reliable cars to, by far, the most reliable cars year after year. So a lot of organizations use Kaizen. If you're not using Kaizen in your personal life, you're missing out. So I just wanted to cover how we use Kaizen, or how I would use it as a sales rep. And there's very simple method to implementing Kaizen into your own career. So number 1, you just have to look at your day. What are you doing all day? Break it down minute by minute and prioritize the things that you need to get done. Think of what are those top few things that you need to do. Then you need to determine which parts are useful or which aren't. I'm guilty of this too. Sometimes I just like to be busy sometimes, and sometimes I'll take on I got 15 things to do, and I'll take on the one project I feel like doing, even though it might be the 13th most important project. So it's a matter of prioritizing which are the things that really matter, and delegate anything that you can delegate. Then you start to slowly fix it. So maybe you notice that you have a bad habit of you're not doing follow-through correctly. You're not following up on your leads. And maybe you need to create a system for yourself that holds you accountable to follow up on your leads. Maybe it's you're just not making enough sales calls. Maybe it's just a matter of setting your alarm 30 minutes earlier, or instead of knocking off at 4:15, you knock off at 4:45, or just those little habits. You just implement one little habit. And I've been doing this. I've been doing this for years, guys. This really transformed my career when I really started buying into this. And I just look at every little thing that I'm doing, and this could apply to your personal life too. If you're not in the best of shape, you don't have to do a million things. You just start with one little small thing. If you don't make your bed when you wake up in the morning, start with that. Just wake up and make your bed, and do that for a couple weeks until it's a habit, and then see how much different your life is. I'm telling you, it works. So it could be in your for your health. Maybe, you know what, I need to be drinking more water. Maybe you set a goal for yourself, you write it down. I need to drink at least half a gallon of water a day, and you have that on your list. After you do that for a few weeks, it's a habit. Now you implement the next habit. Well, I'm going to do 20 push-ups every morning when I wake up. All right, boom. There you go. You do it for a few weeks. Now you don't even think about those things. And I say those things because I literally do those things every morning, and those are little habits that I've created. But if you can do that in your professional career, and you just keep making improvements, don't compare yourself to the person to your, people like Kevin and Robin and Anthony. You shouldn't be, or Robert. You shouldn't be comparing yourself to them. You should be comparing yourself to the person you were yesterday. Am I a better rep today than I was yesterday? And you'll find that this will have a snowball effect. So one of the things that we do at Every Ancillary, there's something called the Rockefeller Habits, and actually it's Physician Hearing Network who turned us on to this. The people who own Physician Hearing Network, one of the owners is a corporate attorney for Fuddruckers and Rackspace. And he said that they use these Rockefeller habits and kind of turned me onto it. And it's just basically a way to structure your business so that you're able to scale. But this ties right into Kaizen. So I'm just going to show you real quick. This is it's called the process accountability chart. So this is for a real rep. We're going to be sending this out, by the way. We have a bunch of little gifts we're going to be sending. This is one of them. We're going to send you a sample of what this looks like for a sales rep. And then you guys can fill in your own goals. So this will help you Kaizen. So basically what this does is there's two different processes here that this particular sales rep is measuring themselves by. So you have your key performance indicator here is the total revenue. That's like how much money do they want to make. Well, you can see here at the time we did this in December, they were at $6,300 in commission with a goal of $12,500 for their monthly goal. Their long-term goal is $30,000 a month, and you can see right next to it, it has, well, what's your weekly strategies, and what are your to hit that monthly goal, and then what are your long-term strategies to hit your long-term goal. And what you're doing is basically implementing Kaizen. What are the little things I could do better this month than I did last month? And I'm telling you, it works. It really does work. And if you do it, you're already in the upper tier of sales reps. You know, a lot of being successful is just showing up. I know it's an old cliche, but it's true. Okay, a couple more topics here and we're done. I was trying to think of something cool to help people get off to a fast start in 2020. And so I thought, what kind of tool could I build for myself that I could share with other people? And 2020 is kind of a cool year because it's we're going into a new decade, and I thought 20% in 2020. That could be a good theme. So if you're looking for a little directive, a little sales initiative, you could challenge yourself to give out these reports to doctors in Q1. We made 3 different versions of this report. I'm also going to be sending this report to you after the call. So this is another little gift. This is a report. We have it broken down. We have the Med Spa Chiro Integrative Practices as one specialty, internal medicine specialties is another, and then the pain orthopodiatry. And what this is a report you guys will be able to bring into practices and say, hey, this is a medical ancillary report on how to increase your profitability by 20% in 2020. You interested in taking a look? This is a great door opener, guys. Second page is an overview of the ancillary business. I'm not going to read it to you, but it basically says is, Doc, everyone's doing ancillaries. Get on board. And what you need to take into account, though, Doc, is that not every ancillary is right for every practice. I'm a practice development manager. This is what I do. I help you sift through all the programs that don't make sense, help you find the stuff that's right in your sweet spot. Then we have a few pages of examples. So it's going to say sample across this. And the reason we do this, we don't want doctors to use this report. What we want them to do is get to the last page. So, Doc, what we can do is create a customized report for you showing you all the different ways that you could increase your revenue, create some practice efficiencies in 2020. I just need you to fill in this questionnaire and give me a couple days, and we'll bring back a report. Boom. There we go. So that's it on that. I also, another thing I stole from Physician Hearing Network, but I've stolen a lot of stuff from them. Physician Hearing Network has these little laminated cards, and I actually, as I sit here now, I have a laminating machine right here on my desk that I bought. So I'm making these also. So everybody on this call, everybody who gets catalogs, I'm going to put one of these little laminated cards in there. And this is just to drill into your head a little elevator pitch. And it's just something, if you get stuck, you have your little elevator pitch. And I thought, well, how do I position myself as a practice development manager? Because I get phone calls from doctors sometimes, and I still have some of my old clients. And you have to explain what you're doing because they're not familiar with what a practice development manager is. You've got to educate them. So this is a good elevator pitch. You can tailor this yourself, but this is something that, like I said, we're going to put in a little card. This is something that I tell doctors all the time. Here's what I do. I'm a practice development manager. As a practice development manager, I work as an ancillary coordinator for independent medical practices like yours. 9 out of 10 practices offer ancillary programs to add revenue, improve efficiency, and avail patients with additional point-of-care services. So I'm trained at evaluating medical practices and customizing solutions to meet the unique needs of your practice. That's it. Okay, Jason Fallow, are you available? Are you unmuted? Jason. Let me unmute you there, Jason. We're almost wrapped up here, guys. Oh, yes, you are muted there, Jason. Let me unmute you. Jason, can you hear us? Okay, now you should be unmuted. All right, Jason, can you hear us? I hit the wrong one.
Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, I hit the wrong one. All right, here we go. Some final thoughts.
Okay, very good. Well, I don't have much. Just wanted to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I want to thank everybody for being a part of our platform. You know, we really couldn't do it without the members. I guess what I'm looking forward to the most, just getting the new websites implemented for next year, and of course the diabetes protocol. So I'm pretty excited about both those programs. That's really all I got. So Merry Christmas, guys.
All right, thank you. Okay, so just some final thoughts from me. I just wanted to reiterate to you guys why we created this platform, what we're trying to do, and what our goals are for 2020. So we created this because, let's face it, this is a industry. This is the wild, wild west. It's funny, I just watched that Ken Burns documentary about the West and how the West was settled and the 49ers and, you know, all the people that migrated west and the fortunes that were made, but also the scoundrels that you ran into. And that's a lot of what this industry reminds me of sometimes. Now, it is slowly getting cleaned up, and that's what we're trying to do, is clean up this industry. There is really high income potential. I mean, I've seen it with my own eyes. I've never made the type of money that Robert's talking about or that some other people have made, but I know that it's there. I've had some very good months, just like everybody else, but there is really high income potential here. I can make a lot more money doing ancillaries than I ever could as a drug rep, that's for sure. The problem is that there is dysfunction here. So this is what we're doing. We're trying to cut the middleman out. We're trying to be that Orbitz, that Expedia. We're giving you everything you need to just make it happen for yourself. You don't need to work through 7 layers of middlemen to hopefully get a paycheck someday. And you have people selling you on a dream that they themselves have never made happen. So, but middlemen also equal risk. If you got 7 layers of middlemen, you're never going to get your money. All right? We're subscription-based. So what we're really focused on doing, I've had vendors come to us all the time. We have no shortage of vendors that come to us. We're on a list somewhere. I don't know how, but it seems like just about every day we have a vendor reach out to us, and they'll always tell me the same thing. And being subscription-based, it really helps us separate the wheat from the chaff. We know who's for real and who isn't. So when we have a vendor say, Mike, you know, this program is great. Your reps are going to make so much money off of it. Oh, really? It looks like it's only like $10 a patient. Well, Mike, but if you just take 2,000 patients at your average practice, and let's say they sign up 1,900 of them, and let's say 99% of them stick around for 10 years, and you just do that every month, you sign up 5 new practices, you know you're going to make more than Warren Buffett this year? It's like, okay, well, is there a single rep making 5% of what you're promising? And so we don't fall for the ancillary math. There's a lot of people out there who are trying to sell sales reps on the dream, but they don't really have these programs fully vetted out yet. And by charging them a subscription fee, we're able to see if these people are for real or not. So I'll tell the same person, well how, and they'll say, well, and every ancillary, you guys can make great money too, because you take $6, you pay the rep $4, or you take $4, pay the rep $6, and then they'll make all this money, and you'll make all this money. I said, well, I got great news for you. You just pay the rep all $10. You don't have to worry about overrides or anything. You just pay a flat subscription fee. Well, we can't afford that. Well, you're not for real. If you can't, we don't charge that much to the vendors. So if they can't afford that, then we know whether these people are for real or not. But really what this allows us to do, too, is we don't have to hustle. What we can do is really just focus on helping you be successful. We know that's our long-term strategy, is we found our niche. This is our lane. That's why we do the podcasts and the webinars and those videos and all that stuff. We just want to help you guys be successful. When you guys are successful, we know you'll stick with us, and we know ultimately we'll be successful. This is another good quote here, but this is something that you really need to think about, and this ties directly into Kaizen. Systems run a business. People run a system. You have to have a system down. If you're just going to wake up on January 2nd and think, I'm going to wing it for 2020, gee, I hope it's a good year, you're going to get eaten alive by the people that you already heard on this call. I guarantee you, if you spend some time with Kevin Bankson, if you spend some time with Robin or Anthony or Robert, any of these people, they've already got their goals lined up for 2020, and they already have a plan that they're formulating right now and over the next week. They already have a plan of attack. So when January 2nd hits, they're already in a full sprint. If you guys want to compete and be amongst those, the upper echelon of reps, you really have to have a good system down. And this is something, I've told this story a million times, but I can't help it. And Viv, you can go ahead and mute, because you've heard this if I've told this story 1,000 times, you've heard it 998 times, so go ahead and mute. But this is true. All right, I'm going to tell this, I swear this will be the last time in 2019 I tell this story. But this is the story when I moved to California. My ex-wife got a job with the Navy, so that's what brought me out here. Now, I had medical sales experience because I was previously a drug rep. When I moved here, I had no experience in the dental world. I got a job at the dental company. I knew not a single dentist. I didn't know my way around town. I didn't know anything about dentistry. But the one thing that I learned that I could do is, what stuff could I control? I can't control that I don't have a 5-year relationship with this doctor. So what am I going to do? Well, what is within my focus? What is within my field of view? Well, I can control how much I hustle, and I can stay super organized. So I used to do things like I would say, I would see how other people organized their days, and they were really kind of haphazard how they would do it. Well, I would set my day up to where I would map out all the accounts I needed to see. I have them listed in order of priority, and I'd also have them listed geographically so that I would maximize my time between 8 o'clock and 5 o'clock so that I was just bam, bam, bam in front of doctors. I wasn't stopping to go log stuff into CRM during 8 to 5. I wrote everything down on the back of a business card. I would wait till nighttime to do that, where other reps are stopping and they're taking an hour lunch, they're logging in all their stuff. Meanwhile, I just made 5 sales calls while you're doing that. So it took me about 6 months till I became the #1 rep at this company. It was only 8 reps, all right, so this isn't like a huge feat. But there were 8 reps, and I slowly climbed that ladder. There was one guy that had tons of experience, Steve. Steve was the man, and everybody wanted to be Steve. Well, Steve got 25, 30 accounts going within the first couple months. But Steve pretty much plateaued right around 40. And at the end of about a year and a half, we took a look at Salesforce. The owner's daughter, who was the office manager, was showing us Salesforce. At the end of a year and a half, the directive was you had to have at least 40 accounts going. There were only 2 people that had 40 accounts going, me and Steve. Steve had 41. He barely made it. Me, I had 104 at the end of a year and a half. Now, Steve was ahead of me, though, for the first, 8 or 9 months. But how I did it was I made 2.5 times as many sales calls as the next guy. That was the report that we pulled up on Salesforce. It was just pure hustle and pure organization and just staying on top of it. And then what that ended up doing was it shortened my learning curve. So within about a year, I could talk as well as Steve could to any dentist and talk at their level. And just through repetition, and just getting in front of a lot of people. So if you're new, organization and hustle is going to cover up a lot of weaknesses. And if you stay organized, you log every sales interaction that you have in a CRM. You create a strategy for each call. You're diligent about all your follow-ups. Your doctors see this, and they see that this is a person that. Remember, I say this all the time. Doctors are not just sizing up the programs. They're sizing you up, whether you know it or not. They're sizing you up to think, well, that sounds great, but are you a person who can actually pull that through? And if they see that you are, doctor, I'm going to be back Tuesday afternoon, I'm going to bring you that report. And then 3 o'clock on Tuesday, you're back with that report. Doctor, I'm going to be here then. You make a promise and you carry through on that promise. They start to believe that, okay, this is a person I can count on. Okay, so our commitment to you, this kind of goes back to the Kaizen. What we do on our end, when we have our meetings with Jason and Vivian and Virginia and Jerry, we're looking at every single thing that we have, every single little system, and we're thinking, how can we what's the weakest point, and how can we optimize that? And how can we make it so that you guys look professional in front of your doctors? So you see things like the videos. If you go back and look at my old videos that I did, a year and a half ago, I'm embarrassed by them. But I leave them up because it's a reminder to me that, you can make huge improvements. I challenge myself. I thought, these videos could be better. So I started learning how to do better videos, and I spent a long time, many hours, playing around with learning how to do like slick video edits and things like that. But we do that across the board. So what our commitment to you is in 2020, we're not stopping with what we have. We're going to continue to build tools and give you guys more things to be successful out in the field. If anybody has any suggestions at all, we want to hear them. I mean, we want you to stay on as members. It's you know, this is a pretty straightforward business transaction here. We're going to help you succeed. We're going to give you every tool you need to be successful, and you don't have to pay a middleman a third or half of your income to make that a reality. You get to keep all the money. So we want you to be truly independent. 2020 is going to rock. I know it. I've talked to so many people that are so optimistic about 2020. 2020 is the year of ancillaries. When we got into this business, back in 2014 we started. 9 out of 10 times you had to explain what an ancillary was when you walked into a practice. Now, it's on the cover of Medical Economics, the rise of medical ancillaries. They had a whole issue back in May of this year about how 9 out of 10 practices are doing ancillaries. Doctors know ancillaries is the key to staying independent themselves and the key to, as Robert said, being able to pay themselves an income. You are facilitating that. It's an important job that you're doing. 2020 is absolutely going to rock. So I just want to thank everybody for being a member. It really means a lot to us. We're very grateful for everybody that puts their faith in us. And we're not perfect, but we do our absolute best. And we just want to wish all of you and your families Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and we hope you guys all just kill it in 2020. So with that, I'm done. Thank you for your business, guys. Have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.